One. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Love Is podcast. I'm excited to welcome the host of the Love Is podcast, Kim Sorrelle. Kim, how are you? And I know you're excited about our guest.
Oh, my word. Am I ever, Neil? I'm so excited about our guest, Kelley Cornish, who has been involved in inclusion and diversity and had big positions at Wells Fargo and has changed the world in so many ways. I am so impressed. You have won so many awards that I had to write them down. One of the most influential women in corporate America, top 25 influential Black women, most powerful women in banking, Diversity and Inclusion and Equity Award. It goes on, and an author. It's work. How will you show up? I love that. And now with TD Jakes Foundation, that is rocking the world and has big plans to keep doing it. Kelley, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much, Kim, and thank you so much, Neil. I am beyond excited to be here and just to spend some time with you. So thank you.
Great. Yeah, well, thanks. So somehow TD Jakes Foundation stole you away from Wells Fargo. How did that happen?
I mean, it's a dream. I'll just say that. I have been following the Jakes family for decades. TD Jakes, his wife, Sarita Jakes, their family, they have just been so inspirational when it comes to my faith and just the life that I wanted to live. And so it's so interesting. Wells Fargo decided, they were going to join forces with him in a partnership. And I did have the opportunity to open a couple of doors and make some introductions around that. And so I was coming to the end of my career at Wells and said that, I'm going to retire and go figure my life out. And a couple of weeks before then, I get a call from TD Jakes to say, would you be interested in coming to run my foundation? And I was like, oh. So I was not expecting it. But you just never know how the work that you do over the years, you just never know what it's leading to. And I tell everyone that all of the roles that I've had, this truly culminates all that I've done. And so it was literally through relationships and literally through the work of trying to help him create a partnership. And here I am. And so excited about it and excited about being on the pull through side of that partnership and leading the foundation. So that's why I got here.
How does the foundation relate to TD Jakes and itself? Like how his whole mission and vision relates to the foundation?
Well, he does have we call it an ecosystem within. We are one entity of the TD Jakes group. Many people are familiar with him with the Potter's House, and they see him on Sundays. But there are other entities, TD Jakes Enterprises. That's where you see your movies, your books, your podcasts. You see TD Jakes Real Estate. That's where affordable housing is being built, senior housing is being built. And then you have the foundation, and the foundation is literally probably the youngest entity on the block and formed about 3 years ago to really begin to think about what is his legacy. 40 years of ministry and all the work that he's doing, where will that kind of live beyond him? And so that is really the birth of the TD Jakes Foundation 3 years ago. And really his focus is on really trying to understand and be a catalyst and an engine in changing the trajectory of economically disadvantaged communities. So there's so many ways we do that, and I'll share that. But right now, if I were to really nail the vision for him, it's really about using or leveraging the foundation to be part of his legacy and all the work that he's done over the past 40 years.
I love that. I love that. I love him. Actually, one of my favorite, my top favorite album of all time, that's dating me, I realize, album, Sacred Love Songs, is TD Jakes. I love it. Love it. It is the best ever, ever, ever. So yes, you are doing so many different things. I love it that he wants to leave a even more lasting legacy, as if the legacy he's already leaving isn't big enough. I
Right.
mean, he's done so much over the years, and he's been such an honorable man and a man to be admired and followed. And I love him. And so I love that he's doing this, and that how great for you to be a part of it and to really spearhead it for him. He's fortunate to have you. And I know that STEAM is one of the big pushes, right? You want to talk about STEAM?
Yeah, absolutely. Before I get into the programmatic elements, if you think about what I mentioned earlier, there's research out there that shows by the year 2053 that the net worth of the Black community will be zero if someone does not move on changing that trend. So he speaks about that sometimes when he's talking, and that really sits on his heart to say, what are things that we can really do to help change that trend and change that forecast? So we think about STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And we think about what do we introduce the younger population to, ages 11 to 17, how can we introduce them to careers early, and hopefully then they'll go to college, then they'll come out and will be these great scientists and mathematicians and everyone engaged in AI that can really get these high paying jobs that can literally change the trajectory of their lives. So we start early with our STEAM academies, and we host academies every summer. We also adopt schools that have a STEAM curriculum and lean into them in investments with their teachers and their faculty, to say we want to help you crack this code, no pun intended, but really crack this code on how do we make life different for that next generation. And it starts by them having access to high paying jobs. And literally, it's not going from $9 an hour to $11 an hour. I mean, we're talking about, salaries that will literally take their family from one tax bracket to another. And so that's why we're passionate about STEAM. And that's just one. But hopefully that answers your question about that's why we're going after it, and the way we're going to approach it.
That makes me really excited, and I hope to be able to help you in any way to be part of that. I'm a former educator myself. I had a tutoring business called Total Tutor that I'm relaunching again, but I've worked in all different areas in education in my career as an educational advocate and everything. And the bottom line is we're not challenging our kids enough through this. And with STEAM, you're going to really reach the areas of where we're going. And AI is where
Absolutely.
we're going. We're going to
Mhm.
technology. And if these kids are
Okay.
not exposed to technology, you just said that. And by being another resource, because the public school system, they just aren't going to be able to handle it with the
Right.
amount of funding and needs to bring in an organization like your organization to really
Mhm.
change and transform and give them that hope. Look at some of these charter schools that have made a difference in careers
Absolutely.
for kids, certain
Absolutely.
ones that just like transform them to certain parts of life and then they come back to that community. You have to
Mhm.
say that the bar can be as high as you want now because the doors are open for everyone because of technology, and we have to open it up to everyone.
Agreed, absolutely. And then we take the step further, and through our hiring mixers, we host two a year. And we have, oh gosh, hundreds of people that attend. But really, the focus with the employers is to bring to this hiring mixer jobs that feed into this whole technology. So we have Amazon, we have the bankers there, all of these people that are using technology, and we bring in employers that are able to upskill parents. They may not have the skill set now, but Amazon is saying, you come in, we'll help you, we'll teach you. Other employers like UPS, the different food stores, everyone that's moving toward technology. And so it's just amazing. We hosted one in Dallas back in October, and in a 3 hour period had over 1,400 people. And to date, we know that 500 people have been hired from that mixer and 200 on the spot that day. So literally, again, these are high paying jobs. So they'll go back to their homes, and they can make a difference in their homes and then provide opportunities for their children. So it's literally a life cycle. It's from, as I say, from the cradle to the grave. How do we get these kids engaged, get their parents upskilled, and continue? And then with that, you can buy housing that leads into our affordable housing, that leads into financial literacy. And so this is how we're going to chip away and change that trend that I talked about earlier, about a projection of the Black community's net worth being zero by the year 2053. So he's really leaning into it. And Neil, to your point, schools can't do it alone. The government can't do it alone. The churches can't do it alone. It's going to take an ecosystem. It's going to take the village to really change the way that our nation is going. So
Yeah,
that's our
absolutely.
little part.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. And, I realize that in our country, there are still people who don't recognize the inequities that are happening with the Black community.
Mhm.
And I don't know why that is, because it seems to be out there, but there are still people that are just kind of ignorant to that and not doing anything to help it. So it seems to me the first thing that needs to happen is people need to recognize that this is happening, right? Before they take action and become part of the ecosystem.
Mhm. Agreed. And it's awareness. It is. It's awareness and education. When you think about what makes people excel, it is education, it is exposure, and just, opportunity and access. And so that's what we're trying to provide. And you're right. Over the holidays, my husband and I, we always play games with our kids, and our kids are grown. But this year said, we're not going to have a game. We gave them all that article and had them read it and say, okay, now what's your part? Because it's the community as well, understanding, like, I need to contribute to buying a home, I need to contribute
Mhm.
to buying stock, I need to understand what wealth is. So we've started changing the conversation in our home around, generational wealth, and so it's something we all have to do, and we all own, everyone, because as the tide rises when
Yeah,
everyone rises.
absolutely.
So,
I watched is this is kind of everything hitting full circle. I watched Tyler Perry's documentary last Saturday, and it blew me away. And TD was, a little bit of part of that story in so many ways. But you look at specifically stories like TD's, stories like Tyler Perry's, that they can do this. And the more
mhm,
organizations that come on board, tell these stories and have success stories, the more people will buy into that there can become this, as you talked about, generational wealth, that
mhm,
first people to get, go to college or get a great job, then the process begins. Look at Atlanta and how Atlanta changed the one of the hubs of where, there's many successful Black uh,
mhm.
people in Atlanta. Why can't this be all over the United States the same way as Atlanta is? And seeing that story and saying that there's an opportunity, that's what TD Jakes is trying to bring to the table.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so glad, Neil, you mentioned Atlanta, because that is our next stop in 2024. Tyler Perry and TD Jakes both purchased property at Fort McPherson, the former Army base in Atlanta. And Tyler Perry has been there for a little while. We will come in this year. As a foundation, we will have an office there, and it's projected to build 300 homes, mixed income, mixed use, retail, schools. We're just so excited that these two, you know, very honorable people have come together to say, this is how we're going to help change the world. And this is
Absolutely.
how we're going to change generational wealth in disadvantaged communities. So just so much is going on in
Yeah,
2024. And we're excited that we have a leader like TD Jakes that has the vision, and he is such a risk taker. And I love that because, coming from banking, we're not that risky. And so I'm learning so much about him, but literally that's how you change. You step out and say, yes, we're going to do this, and this is how we're going to do it. So that's
powerful
what.
stuff. Kim, I guess a quick question before we go. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wrote a book about love. It's over my shoulder. I did this eat, pray, love experience and lived a year trying to figure out the true meaning of love. Most of the time I was in Haiti. And to me, this organization exudes love. How do you see love playing a part? Like, what does that mean to you?
I think about, so my husband just retired as a pastor of 30 years as a senior pastor of a church this December. And, we at our church, we used to have the verse we would always use is let love abound. And it was really around, you have to love each other. You might not like each other, but you have to love each other, because with love, that's how the world changes. And literally and I bring that to the foundation. We care holistically about the community, and it's so much deeper than what people see on the surface. TD Jakes as well as myself, we came from very humble beginnings. When they say, you didn't know you were poor, we had love all around us. And I think that is, if we can continue to show people we love them through the programmatic efforts and the way that we love on them and care for them about providing the way we provide opportunity and access, they will see that we care. And when people care and they know you care, then things
Exactly.
happen and
Awesome.
for the good.
You know what I was going to say, Kelley? I want to be part of this in some sort of way with the education part of what I'm doing in my businesses and to help the TDJX Foundation and research AI, anything. So we'll definitely have to stay connected. Best place people can find information on the TDJX Foundation. Where can they go?
At tdjfoundation.org. That's tdjfoundation.org. And that is the same for all of our social media handles, TDJ Foundation.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Great.
Appreciate it. This was the special
Thank
simulcast of the
you.
Neil Haley Show and the Love Is podcast, guys. Take care.